Hey everyone, I'm Allison, a video and podcast producer at Interweave, and in my job, I see a lot of yarn. I see yarn that's a great value. I see yarn that is really beautiful. I see yarns that are incredibly luxurious, but it's not often that I see a yarn that's beautiful and interesting and that has a story to tell. This is Lascaux DK from Ancient Arts Yarn, and it is a beautiful hand-dyed yarn that comes in a huge range of shades. In fact, what we're showing you here is just a fraction of what's available. But what makes it really interesting is the fiber it's made from. It is a blend of Punta Arenas and Manx Lockton. So what does that even mean? Punta Arena, it's a sheep from the very southernmost tip of Chile, and they make a really good, all-purpose, hard-working, soft, but really strong yarn that wears very, very well. But the star of this yarn is the Manx Lockton wool. Manx Lockton are sheep from the Isle of Man. That's a tiny little island between Ireland and England, and they've been around since the Bronze Age. They have 4 to 6 horns. They're kind of badass looking. They are always brown, which is pretty rare. But rare or not, their fiber is also a really great all-purpose fiber. I knit a couple of swatches, and this is the stockinette one, and you can see that it is smooth, it has a slight luster, it has a little bit of drape. But where the yarn really comes into its own is when you put a little texture into it. I've worked this swatch in seed stitch and moss stitch, and the yarn has kind of a boingy bounce to it, which gives you amazing stitch definition when you start working knits and purls together. Now I want to go back to the stockinette swatch for a second, because remember when I said that the yarn is hard wearing? I didn't want to take it at face value. I wanted to put this to a test drive. So I took this swatch, I folded it up, and I wore it in the waistband of my pants for over a week because I knew that I was doing this video. And I wanted to replicate the kind of friction and rubbing that you would get wearing a regular garment over time. If you look closely at this, there's no matting, there's no pills, there is just a beautiful soft halo. You will also see something else. You see little flecks of brown here and there, and that is the Manx Lockton wool making its presence known. Again, the wool is often a dark brown. When you add that to a yarn that you hand dye, it's going to give you some incredibly rich, deep colors. Even the paler shades show the effect of that brown wool going in there. Now this yarn is DK weight, but it comes in 3 weights altogether. There is a fingering weight and there is a worsted weight in addition to this. You can find all 3 of these at the Ancient Arts website, and you will find pattern support for these as well. So there are accessories, there are beautiful shawls, there are sweaters, there are cardigans that go from sizes small to 5X. Now I want to talk about the story behind the sheep behind this yarn, because this is the only commercial Manx Lockton yarn on the market, and that's because the sheep is incredibly rare. It has been on the brink of extinction, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Conservation has brought it back, but we're talking a few thousand left at this point. But wool is the ultimate renewable resource, and yarns that use this wool help keep the breeds going. So for all of these reasons, I have fallen in love with this yarn, and I hope that you will too. Check with your local yarn shop or go directly to the Ancient Arts website. Hopefully, I've convinced you to give this yarn a try. It is a hard-wearing, all-purpose yarn that is absolutely beautiful and helps save some very special sheep.